Shabbos. Today is Yud Aleph Nisan. Today, Friday, is the 11th of Nisan, which is the birthday of the Rebbe, where he would turn 122. It is customary that on the day of a birthday, we say the chapter of Tehillim that we're entering into. So if you're 50, you say 51. If you're 122, you say 123. Chapter of 123 is a remarkable chapter in relevance to what's going on today. King David asks Hashem, Chanenu Hashem Chanenu. Hashem, be gracious to us. Finally, have mercy upon us. Why? Kirav savai nuvuz. We have been satiated, filled with scorn, the scorn of the complacent, the scorn of the arrogant. It's interesting that he uses the terms complacent and arrogant versus enemies and hateful people. He's including, it looks like, the satiation of the scorn of the complacent, meaning those people who are totally ignoring what the Jewish people are going through today. That which is taking place all over. Imagine anti-Semitism that we're seeing, what happened to any other group. Imagine what is being said about Jews would be said about blacks or Muslims. How the world would react. It's the complacency of the world is that which really fills us an incredible amount of disgrace. It's interesting, the Al-Shich HaKadosh, one of the commentaries on Tehillim, say the buz, what is the disgrace he's talking about? Is disgrace of the rapes, which were done for the purpose of disgrace. That's what their point was, to disgrace us. And the fact that they have their eyes on Jerusalem and on the Temple Mount. That's what the Al-Shich says is the disgrace. So this is extremely relevant for now. Now I want to share with you an event that happened in 1975. In 1975, the Rebbe spoke on, it was the Shabbos Hagadol, the Shabbos prior to Pesach. It's called the Great Shabbos because there was a great miracle that happened there. The miracle was L'makim Mitzrayim B'Chareim, that the elder Egyptians saw the Jewish people take the Paschal lamb, take the sheep, which was considered a god for the Egyptians. And they asked them what you're doing, and they told them, we're going to be doing X, Y, Z with the sheep because we're going out of Egypt soon. And because the firstborn of the Egyptians will be killed. When the firstborn heard that, they didn't point their finger at the Jews. They went to their elders and say, hey, let them out. And they wouldn't, and they fought with each other. And the Rebbe said something fascinating. He says, what happened here was, the Torah uses the expression, mishchu kolachem, pull yourself away from idolatry and take on this mitzvah. By a Jew taking on God's mitzvot, what he did was, not only, even though this was the God of Egypt, not only didn't he cause that there should be hatred of the Egyptians of him, but rather he caused there to be a civil war within Egypt itself, which weakened Egypt to the extent that after the plague, they told the Jewish people to leave. The Rebbe then said, the Arizal, the holy Arizal, 15th century Arizal says, Yomim Elu Niskadim V'Nasim. These days, this is a verse in the Megillah. These days are remembered and then actioned, done. Says the Arizal, when we remember the events of the past and we do the same acts of the past, then it makes those things happen today. The Rebbe spoke then in 1975 about this. And it said basically, when we keep Hashem's laws, when we keep Pesach, when we do the mitzvot over the time, then we make the same miracle that happened when we left Egypt happen now. A few short days later, King Faisal of Saudi Arabia was holding court. His nephew came up to him and shot and killed him. It was assassination. Now, have to remember, Saudi Arabia in the 70s was the Iran of today. They were the ones financing and organizing much of the Arab world's hatred and terrorism against Israel. And then one of their own killing the king, happening right after the Rebbe spoke this message. And the Rebbe asked the secretary when he told him, what are the Chassidim saying about this? And the Chassidim are saying that this is the fulfillment of what the Rebbe spoke about the previous Shabbat, when he said that they would fight one another for the betterment of the Jewish people. And isn't that what we're seeing happening now? In the remarkable miracles that took place last Saturday night, 330 rockets flying, more than 330 rockets flying against Israel. Not one causing major harm. 99% being knocked down. And I saw a message from a person of the defense industry saying, you don't understand what kind of incredible miracle. It's a miracle greater than the Six-Day War. Why? Because the amount that there wasn't human error, which should take place, because every one of these missiles has to be knocked down individually. And they specially put missiles at different speeds, those that take hours, those that take 10 minutes, at different speeds, different sizes, to confuse the defense against them. And the fact that it was done with complete success, he says, without any human error, is a miracle. This is a person from the defense industry saying. It was remarkable that Hashem blessed us in this kind of a way. So may it be that by us keeping the Pesach, practically, if you're only keeping one night, keep two. If you're not keeping one night, at least keep Seder this year. Invite someone to your Seder if you don't have one. If you weren't planning, then go to a communal Seder, or organize a Seder at home. Give a Jew a shmura matzah. Pull yourself away from what you're doing. Focus on Pesach. And may Hashem bless the Jewish people with miracles until the ultimate miracle, the miracle of going out of Egypt, going out of this exile, which is continuation of Egypt. That Hashem will bless us with freedom, and that Israel will be totally free of all terror and have peace and security. And we're all Jews recognize the greatness of Hashem's miracle for us. Good Shabbos.